Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
I guess it's dark in there. It's really early here. It's only 6 something in the morning, 6:48. Had to get up. It sucks. But hey, here we are, waiting for the sentencing. I think it's probably started at 9, I would imagine. Yep. Watching for Jill's from North Carolina. All right. I'm just looking at some of the Twitter stuff, you know. Bob Siegel said, back in Carroll County this morning for the sentencing of Richard Allen in the Delphi murder trial. Allen will likely receive a sentence of between 45 and 130 years in prison after a jury found him guilty. So they don't have life without parole in Indiana? You have to get like an actual... And then the first tweet that I read this morning was, an innocent man's going to prison. Oh, God. What are you talking about? Jesus. Richard Allen admitted it. And it wasn't because he was, crazy in prison or something. He had already admitted before he was even diagnosed with anything. In fact, he didn't even exhibit any signs of going nuts until after he confessed to his wife and mother. And then the mother and his wife called up the attorneys and said, oh my God, he told us he did it. Then they go, oh my God, oh wait. And then, boy, lo and behold, wasn't he the craziest person you've ever seen after that? Hey, thanks so much, Keith Olesi. Have a nice day. Well, happy holiday to you too, and have a nice day. Yeah, everything, you guys. There was a bullet, an unspent bullet found at the crime scene, or cartridge, I guess. But it was ejected from his gun, and the ejection marks matched the gun at Richard Allen's house, and he even admits to ejecting a bullet while crossing, just as he was reaching the girls on the other side of the bridge. Now, how the bullet got to the crime scene from there, we don't know. But he may have ejected it into his hand. He may have and put it in his pocket, or it fell out, or it ejected and it got caught in something. Who the hell knows? But either way, the bullet matched his. And then he also gave information regarding the Brad Weber's van driving by, which only the killer would know. Now, apparently, because I heard the rumor of the white van a year after the confession, that means I fed the psychologist that information. These people are lunatics. All right. Yeah, people don't go with the facts. Richard Allen is bridge guy. I know. I mean, I've gone over it so many times. The people who believe Richard Allen is not guilty, they have to suspend logic and reason to believe that. And not only that, he's been found guilty. You know how you guys all said, hey, he's not guilty until it's proven by, by a jury. A jury says it. Well, now that the jury says it, you don't believe it. And I told everybody that's exactly what these people would do. They don't care, okay, because they know for certain that Richard Allen is innocent. With using absolutely no information at all, they all believe he's 100% innocent. They're not using anything. They're basing it off of ghosts and hobgoblins. The Odinist theory. Everybody, he wasn't able to present a full defense. He should have been able to use the Odinist people. Well, there was no evidence that any of the Odinists were in Delphi or anything. Okay, you have one lunatic, Elvis Fields, who, he has the brain capacity of a 7-year-old or something like that, and he says stupid comments. And there's a guy that they say vaguely resembled him at 7 in the morning. So he sat there for 6 hours just waiting on the other side of the bridge, just kind of... Oh my God. And of course it's him, right? It can't be some other person. It has to be Fields. We're a bit commentary and dash snacky. Let's see what this says. Throughout the case, Richard Allen was brought to the court's attention that he was detained in solitary confinement without due process. But isn't that Luigi Mangioni's being held in a prison as well? And he was held that way for a reason. They didn't feel safe, and he didn't feel safe. Hey, welcome, Kim W.
We turn now to the verdict in the Delphi murders trial. Richard Allen was found guilty on all counts.
Let's see. That was when the verdict happened. I think that's... I don't know if that's Tara over there. When convicted, Delphi, Indiana killer Richard Allen returns to the court for sentencing on Friday. He's expected to come face to face with the victims' families. Last month, the jury found Allen guilty on all charges. Now watch, the wackadoodle Richard Allen is innocent people will be outraged that the family members addressed Richard Allen in court, saying, like they can't forgive him for what he did, etc., 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 whatever they might be saying. And they're going to be outraged that they had the audacity to tell an innocent man that. What a joke. Hey, all right, tack. And look at that, Kim W. joined Oogla Boogla Freaks. All right. Allen faces a sentence of 90 to 130 years in prison. A gag order has prevented the family of Abby and Libby from commenting during or after Alan's trial, but at sentencing they get their chance to address Alan through victim impact statements. See, they're going to be trashed for having impact statements, and I guarantee you the wackadoodle Richard Allen and his innocent crowd will be sitting in that courtroom snickering and making faces when the family is saying what they want to say to an absolute killer. Richard Allen is the killer, everybody. He killed Abby and Libby. There is no doubt. I have not one shred of doubt in my mind. Once the probable cause document came out, that was like, wow. If anybody took the time to just kind of meticulously go through it and figure out the precise timing of everything, you would realize that Richard Allen has no out for being the bridge guy. And because he's bridge guy, he therefore is the person who told the girls to go down the hill. That means he is at least responsible for kidnapping the girls and felony murder. Now, if Richard Allen wants to come forward and let us know the other people's names that were at the crime scene waiting for him, perhaps some Odinist donned in some antlers and some furry coats of some sort, come let us know, Richard Allen. Let us know who those other people were, because you are the guy there. And not only that, you admitted to being the person there. So, I mean, every single thing points to Richard Allen, and Richard Allen himself admits it. So how there's people out there going, he's innocent, everybody. Man, Richard Allen is the most unlucky guy on the planet. That his made-up confession happened to have a van that Brad Weber just happened to be driving by in at that exact time. It's just a miraculous thing. He just threw it out there and he hoped that it would just show that it was a false confession. But oh my God, it was real. Hey, thanks, Susan. Ray, do you feel like they got their... Oh, of course. Are you being sarcastic, Susan? Are you being sarcastic? Yeah. Hey, listen, you guys. Do not listen to the people out there that are telling you that Richard Allen is innocent. He is 100% factually the killer. And the fact that the defense team came out and said those... Remember those comments? Even the temporary guy, he said, man, I've never seen a case like this. You know, I really think he's innocent, you know? I mean, what a bunch of lunatics. What did you see yourself? I mean, I guess you'd love these guys if you want a defense attorney, you know? But if you want somebody with logic and reason, these guys aren't the ones for you, I can tell you that. So just look at this one more time. Well, I don't know, I don't know if I still have it open. Oh, you haven't had time to watch it? Oh. I thought you were being sarcastic, because I've been absolutely saying that he's the guy. I mean, it's just so clear. Here, watch. Hey, Susan, just hang out for about a second. Let me show you this really quick. All right? I'm going to show you this animation here that I've shown probably 1,000 times. But generally, every time somebody sees it, they go, oh, you know, I see now. All right, just loading it up now. Might take a minute. All right, check it out. Here it is. So Richard Allen told Dan Doolin that he got to the Monon High Bridge trails around 1:30 and he left at 3:30. He told Dan Doolin that. I believe it was on the 16th. Or wait, on the 16th? Wait, 15th. 14th was the day they were found. 15th was the... So on the 14th, the girls were found. On the 15th, the image of the suspect was put out. On the 16th, Richard Allen got a hold of the tip line. I think he went in and actually tipped it in that he was there. And then I think a couple days after that, Dan Doolin interviewed him. And in that interview, he told Dan Doolin that he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. However, when he was arrested in 2012, he told police that he got there at 1:30, or he was brought in for questioning. He told police that he got there at 12 and he left at 1:30. So he completely changed it outside of the original time for a reason. All right? So he said he got there at 1:30, and people are like, well, how do you prove that? Because he says he got there at 12. Well, these three girls, these three spheres down in the corner here, those three spheres in the corner, those are actually just represent 4 girls, but I have 3 because only 3 girls were interviewed and questioned. One of them was really too young. Hey, thanks, Herbert Landscaping. I appreciate all the hard work you do, Gray. I know what that's all about. Yes, Herbert Landscaping in upstate New York for all your landscaping needs. Yeah, it sucks when you do hard work and you don't get the viewership isn't that high, and I don't know what the hell the deal is. I don't know how to make my videos seen more. That's the problem. I think if my videos were seen more before the trial and before the wackadoodle Richard Allen or innocent people got a hold of people's minds, this would have been a lot different mentally for people out there. So look, these are the 3 girls. There's 4 actually, really young ones with them. And they were at the bridge at 12:43, but they were over here at the Freedom Bridge at 12:25, right? So they walked this whole way down to here, and at 12:43 took a picture on at the start of the bridge there. And then eventually they make their way back this way, and not one time did they see Richard Allen. So that effectively clears his secondary statement that he was there from 12 and left at 1:30, because these girls were there that whole time, and they only saw him. So check it out. So at 12:43 they're here, and eventually at 1:26 they take a photograph right here at a bench. 1 minute after they're at that bench, this black vehicle up above, see that car coming by? It drives by the Hoosier Harvest Store camera there, and at 1:27 that camera takes a photograph of a black, what they believe is a black Ford Focus. It looks just like one, has the same rims that Richard Allen's vehicle has. And that vehicle pulls up and parks here at the abandoned CPS building. He admits to parking there. He says at 1:30 he parked his car by an old building, and then he got out of the vehicle and he walked to the Freedom Bridge, and just after passing over the Freedom Bridge he passed 3 girls, he said. Those same 3 girls saw him, right? So at this point we know that Richard Allen got there at 1:30, and not only that, his vehicle's driving by here. He said he got there at 1:30. These 3 girls saw him walking that way. So there's 3 corroborating pieces of information. Hey, thanks, Susan. 3 corroborating pieces of information that place him right there at the beginning of the trail. So this right here is Richard Allen in blue. Okay? So he's walking this direction, and he says he went right to the Monon High Bridge, and he went there to look at fish, he said. So he walks to the bridge, and it takes about 11 minutes. So let's just say he gets out of his car, he's over here by 1:33-ish, and then he walks this way, and he's at the start of the bridge at 1:44. Now watch this. Betsy Blair in the red vehicle, you can see up in the upper left, goes underneath Old State Road 25, looks up and sees those same 4 girls. She sees all 4 of them, though, when she drives underneath. Then she walks this way, then she keeps driving this way, and then passes the Hoosier Harvest Store at 1:47, parks her car, and gets out. I think it might have been 1:46, actually. And 1:46, I think, she passes the Hoosier Harvest Store. Then she gets out of her vehicle, and then she walks right to the Freedom Bridge, because her normal loop that she would do, everybody, listen to this. She would park her car here, go to the Monon High Bridge, walk this direction, then go down the old, like there's a 505 trail right here. Go a partial way down, then back up, then go this way to the Freedom Bridge, and then back here to the car, and that would be a loop. Okay? So when she got there, then she gets out of her car, and she goes to the Monon High Bridge, just like she normally does on her loop. She'd been there and done 2 loops earlier, and by the way, she was there during the Richard Allen second time too, 12 to 1:30, and didn't see him at all. So there's Betsy Blair in yellow. Now watch this. I'm going to rewind a little bit. She gets out of her car, and then 2 minutes after she got there, at 1:49, and probably about 1:48 they were dropped off, but Abby and Libby were dropped off 2 minutes after her, and then Kelsey's vehicle drives by the Hoosier Harvest store and exits the area. Then Betsy Blair in yellow there makes her way to the Monon High Bridge, and she looks out and sees Richard Allen standing on platform 1. Well, guess what? Richard Allen told police he was standing on platform 1, and he's exactly where he should be, getting there at 1:30. He's there at 1:44, and Betsy Blair gets right here at 1:47. So Richard Allen would have had to sprint like Carl Lewis to get past Betsy Blair to be over here somewhere, but that doesn't fit his story either, because he said he was there till 3:30. So then Betsy Blair goes to the bridge, sees him standing on platform 1, and she sees him from the barricade, which is 111 feet, not 50 feet like she said, so that's why perhaps her memory of sort of the overall description isn't that great. Betsy Blair, however, when shown the picture of Bridge Guy, said, "Yep, that's the person I saw." Then Betsy Blair walks this way and passes Abby and Libby, and guess what? Abby and Libby have to then run into Richard Allen, who's standing right here. That's still Richard Allen right there. Okay, then Betsy Blair walks all the way to the Freedom Bridge, I believe, because that's part of her deal. So she said she skipped going down the 505 that day. So my prediction was correct. I just guessed that she went to the Freedom Bridge at one point, and it was true. So she went to the Freedom Bridge and walked this direction. Now, if we go all the way back to here, these 3 girls, when they pass him, when shown a picture of Bridge Guy from Libby's phone, they said, yes, that is the person that we saw. All right? So, and then also, right now, in yellow, Betsy Blair sees him and said, yes, that's the person they saw. Now, Abby and Libby would say the same thing, except they're not alive, because after this, Richard Allen likely went back a little ways this direction so he could see if there's anybody coming. Then he waited and watched the girls cross the bridge. Then he followed them across, and from his own words said he pulled out his gun, ejected a bullet, forced the girls down the hill, was going to assault them down here. However, a white van drove by. Or not, he didn't say white van. He said a van drove by, and it happens to be, there's a white van owned by Brad Weber, who lives right underneath my head there. Okay, so it's right there. And then he said it scared him, so then he took the girls across the creek, and he killed them, and he did it out of his own selfishness. He made sure that they didn't suffer, he said. I think that's complete bullshit. I actually think he sat there for a while, doing whatever he was going to do. And then he said he eventually left, not on the trails, and went on to live his life. And then at the crime scene, they found a bullet that matched the ejection marks from Richard Allen, that other bullets would have from Richard Allen's gun. He confessed over 60 times. Can you guys see how he's trapped in there? Hey, thanks so much. Carla M said, keep doing what you do, Gray. And then also Susan up there, Gray, your videos are amazing and appreciate you. Well, thank you. All right, so now you understand, you guys. And by the way, this is what he said in his confession. He said that he was over visiting his mom's house in Peru, Indiana, which is ironically near, or not so ironically, we don't know, near Keegan Klein's residence. And, they went to lunch. He said, oh, I don't want to go. He drove home. On the way home, he picked up a 6-pack of beer. He got home, drank 3 of them, grabbed his jacket and other things, and then he goes out to the trails, and then he said he saw the girls. He followed them. He lied in wait, followed them, crossed the bridge, and then forced the girls down the hill after ejecting a bullet, and then all the other stuff that I just told you. So he said that in one of his confessions. And the thing is he said all these very calmly, and everybody that listened to him speak at trial said he sounded just like the voice. I mean, can anybody see an out for Richard Allen here? How is Richard Allen not bridge guy? If anybody can give me the answer to that, that would be awesome. And the thing is, you're not going to be able to do it, because he is that person. Yeah, you can just see it. Look how simple this is. Watch. Just focus just on Richard Allen. I'm doing what he said he did. He got there at 1:30, walks by the girls, goes all the way to the bridge, and he's there at 1:44. Well, Betsy Blair gets out, virtually trapping Richard Allen in the location that he's at. And then she said she turned around after seeing him and passed Abby and Libby, and therefore they have to run into him next. Okay, you see that? But all Betsy Blair and the 3 girls all saw the same person. Richard Allen said he was wearing... Here, let's do the... the hell is it? There it is. Watch. Richard Allen said he was wearing blue jeans, a dark blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hoodie and some sort of head covering, which he said later was a knit cap. Looks exactly like that guy. He even said he was wearing exactly the same clothing. Now people might go, why would he say that? See, Richard Allen thought originally, like when they, I don't know why, he didn't tell Dan Doolin what he was wearing, but when he was in the 2022 interviews in October, he said, yeah, I was wearing blue jeans, a dark blue or black Carhartt jacket. And then one of the other things he said was, when asked, is this you, Richard Allen? He said, well, if the girl took the picture, it's not. In other words, well, sure, it sure as hell looks like me. However, if the girl took that picture, it can't be me because I don't want to be, convicted. I mean, isn't that ridiculous, you guys? Yeah. It's insane. Pure insanity. Yeah, I mean, I have tons and tons of, different images that I've created that show the... I think I might be able to find it if I can keep working on... When did that stop? Man, that was a while ago. There's Delphi trial. And then I think it was the 18th. No. 19th. I think this is it. Yeah, no, I was actually shocked that the jury came back like that, because just so many nut jobs out there have been selling complete nonsense to so many different people that I just wasn't sure that there might be like that one holdout and maybe a jury nullification. They were so mean to him, So anyways, look at this. That's Richard Allen's body, and that is Bridge Guide. Do you think that those look consistent? Now, of course, I'm shrunk. I don't have them standing next to each other. So I just want to have you look at the proportions of the body. Okay? That's what you got to look at. And I think it's absolutely the same. The rolled shoulders, etc. Now that face you see on there is actually from him playing pool. And look at that. Look how it is consistent with it. Like, you can't say that's not him. And the reason it's consistent is because it is him. I mean, look at that. I'm just putting it in there with the nose, the goatee, the everything. It's all right there. Take Me to the Riot. No FX Punk 99. Usually only can catch replays. Wanted to say thanks. Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And if you want to get me one of those buy me a coffees, that'd be cool too. It's pretty early in the morning here. I need some energy. I'd be surprised if he really is maintaining his innocence. Yeah, well, that's what I think. I don't think there's ever been a case, you guys. I don't think there's ever been a case where somebody had tried to confess as many times and as calmly and rationally as Richard Allen apparently sounds in a lot of the tapes he's in, and have so many people disregard what he said. As a matter of fact, I think that the lawyers and his wife, etc., are complicit in, if he is, perhaps he became mentally ill at one point, it might be because nobody would listen to him. In fact, I think we sort of proved that on one of the days that we were going over it. He said that after he confessed, he wanted to make sure that his wife still loved him, and she would always say, yeah, I love you, but you didn't do this, Richard. But that's not the answer he wanted to hear. Richard Allen wanted to hear that, yes, I love you no matter what you did, Richard. Because he even said one time after, many other confession and questions, they always said, well, we love you, Richard, but you didn't do it. He finally said, will you love me regardless? Because he wanted that answer. And they would never say to him, yes. Well, eventually the mother did say that at the very end. She said, yeah, I'd love you no matter what. The mother said that. But I think he wanted the answer from his wife, your companion. I hope he gets the maximum. I think Richard Allen is just a horrendous human being. Now, you wouldn't know that if you listened to some of these YouTubers out there. God, he's so great. I'd let him babysit my own kids. He's fantastic. Yeah, everybody wants to know, yeah, okay, but why do you do it, Greg? Well, people like him, the answer is it was for sexual reasons. That's exactly why he did it. He even admitted it. Okay? That's usually the answers for these people. Well, thank you, Yorkshire Tea. Hey, look at that. We got Jenny and Susie Clue getting me the coffees. Did it pop up on the screen there? I didn't see it. For those of you that happen to be watching that think he didn't do it, can you tell me why? Just one person? Give me a good explanation, just something for us to hang our hats on and go, wow, man, that's really something to look at. Richard Allen is cooked like a Richard Allen is cooked like a Christmas goose. Yeah. Wow, so this could go on all day then. I didn't realize I should have came on a little later, I guess. Let's see what's going on. I'm just going to see if there's any updates. Richard Allen has arrived at the Carroll County I guess that might be him getting there. That's snowing over there, I guess, for his sentencing in 2017 murder of Abby Williams and Liberty German. I guess that might be him coming out right there. Oh, there he is with his little glasses on his head. Wow. You look like a really smart guy there, Ricky. Reports from public leaving the courthouse. Richard Allen has been sentenced. Oh, wow. 6 minutes ago. He's been sentenced to 130 years. There we go. Yeah. 130 years. That's what they're saying. But you never know, everybody. We might come up with new drugs that can make him live longer. Yeah, I guess, well, you know, an hour and a half. Maybe the family got up and said a few things, and that was it. Because Richard Allen's team didn't want to say anything. So, hallelujah! 130 years to a psycho. I think what's going to happen is while he's in prison, and I guess after he probably tries for an appeal, he'll probably get involved in the system, find religion again, and he'll confess as well. Or maybe he won't because he's already in there. He doesn't. Maybe he feels like his confession's already unburdened himself. Yeah, I don't know if the judge said anything or not. 130 years. Sounds like. Let's see. Let me put that in there. There we go. I wish we could have seen that. Yeah, doesn't that suck that we can't see stuff? I hope they filmed the trial somehow. Like, it just feels like they must have, like, I think you have to have it be filmed. And then maybe someday somebody will be able to get that released at some point. Yeah, I think they are on camera. Now the Delulus will have a real meltdown. I know. Yeah, they keep saying that. You know what I can't believe, you guys, is how delusional so many people are out there. They all think that every case that I cover, I'm somehow involved with a cover-up or coming up with a narrative to help support somebody. I mean, it's the most amazing thing. I come up with my shit on my own. You know, I take in all the information that comes in, and then I develop theories and based on the facts and the elements that ring true in a case. Okay? That's what I do. Now the gag order is lifted. Sweet. He'll end up like Jeffrey Dahmer if he does. If anyone inside, it's reliable to report. Well, we just played something where they were coming out, like right here. I guess this is the public leaving. Hey, thanks, Yorkshire Tea. Let me try to find something in here. Did anybody 7 minutes ago seen outside Carroll County Courthouse during Richard Allen's sentencing in the Delphi murder? Yeah, well, it's snow falling. So there's nothing on the just regular Google search yet. Now we can see everything? What do you mean? I don't know what that means. Jesus. Let's see. For 5 years, he thought he had got away with it. Yeah. Well, yeah. Maybe even up to 7, right? What about WTHR? Hey, thanks, Eleni K. Very kind, very kind. Thank you. Eh? From Canada. No, that wasn't it. Hey, another Canadian. Georgina Stoliker. And Mothra. Abby and Libby will have justice served. So we got Eleni K. Oh, now will Kathy divorce him? Yeah, I'll hopefully get to see everything. I want to have the transcripts. So I guess after this well, the transcripts are available after an appeal is filed because they're used in that. Yeah, well, the gag order, we heard basically everything that was going on at the trial. But apparently pretty soon there's going to be a press conference, right? So if anybody has that somewhere where we can watch it together, that'd be cool. I don't know what that means. One of Judge Gould's sentences was carried out on December 18th when Joseph Corcoran had the death penalty carried out. That is the night he was executed. Okay. That didn't happen to Richard Allen because he doesn't have the death penalty. It wasn't available for some reason. I know, isn't that weird, Jay? It's like my original theories. You know, of course, when Keegan Kline came in, you had to sort of adjust stuff, but then, like, the same elements were the same, even with Keegan Kline. Whoever it was took him across the bridge, down below, and I even had that little corner area where I thought maybe he tried to assault them, but the girls ran across the creek, but it turns out he forced them across the creek. I mean, nothing has really changed at all, to be honest with you. Gray, yeah. I was reading that one again, but there you go. A lot of people wouldn't know it because they didn't watch here. They watch the conspiracy channels that get way more into the algorithm than the regular people. I mean, it's amazing over the years. You could just have... I don't know. It's hard to explain it to people. Protective custody. I think there must have been some reason why at some point. It might have been, maybe there was a punishment for not doing something. I don't know why the death penalty was taken off the table in Richard Allen's case. I think it's almost better though, because you don't get like 20 years of appeals over and over and over and over again. Hey, welcome, Crime Cricket, and thank you, Georgina Stoliker, for Tima H696, Crystal Tucker, Phil R, Bama Cat, and Calm Chaos Controller. Yeah, let's go. Let me check Twitter again. Twitter is usually quicker than anybody else. I keep calling it Twitter. I don't think I'll ever change it in my mind to X. It's hard to do. Richard Allen is sentenced to 130 years in prison for the murder of Abby Williams and Liberty German. Judge Francis Gould told Allen, "You rank right up there with the most hideous crimes." Good for Judge Gould. See, here's the thing. Judge Gould has known that Richard Allen, it's inescapable that he did it and that he confessed. And she was kind of wondering the whole time that if his attorneys even had his best interests at heart. and that's why eventually, you know, based on their behavior, remove them, but then put them back in. And mainly she had to put them back in. And I think it worked out better that way, because now they don't have, there's no appealable issue on that portion where he didn't get to have his attorneys that he chose. But isn't that amazing? She said, you rank right up there with the most hideous crimes. She is seen in her 27 years on the bench. Oh, nice. Good for Fran Goal. That's so mean. He's innocent, you guys. Judge Gould has sentenced Richard Allen to 130 years in prison, the maximum allowed under the law. I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe I'll make my own tweet. I'm gonna say Richard Allen the Barbarian. He got 130 years in prison. He should be pretty old by the time he gets out. Oh shit, that's pretty good. All right. Yeah, poor guy is going to be pretty old. Oh, man, that's great. There, I think I need to... Where is it? I don't know where that... Oh, that was a search. Sorry, now I gotta make my tweet. I was doing a search for some reason. Let me do that again. Richard Allen has been sentenced to 130 years in prison. He should be pretty darn old when he gets out. When he gets out. There we go. All right, let's do it again. Okay. Judge Gould, the prosecutor, I'll be feeling insecure about what they did. Oh, look at this crap here. Judge Gould, the prosecutors, and Delphi should all be feeling insecure about what they did to what they did to Richard Allen and to the institutions they represent. This lady right here is an embarrassment. Just a joke. No, Richard Allen, he's the one that killed 2 girls, everybody. Justice was served. He deserves every second that he gets. Okay, is that just a picture there, or what? Oh, that's Susan Hendricks said, breaking Richard Allen sentenced to maximum. God damn it. Well, that's what where the press conference is going to be, and this is just posted like 8 minutes ago. I'm seeing if there's anybody covering this. Now, if anybody can see where there's a live stream on Facebook or something like that, or Twitter, hopefully it looks like that. So it looks like they're all going to sit there and get up and speak. Man, I've never seen a case that's so harder to get to see something on, you know? Just so many, so difficult. Good for her, Sunshine County Chicken. God dang it. Why do people like you come in here and just unbelievable. I never understood why people think he was framed. Local news and press conference shortly. Hey, no problem. But hey, if you're out there and you want to help support the channel, that'd be great. With the buy me a coffee or the super chats or whatever. We're obviously probably going to cover this later this evening too. But man, that was quick. I'm glad I got up just in time. Maybe we can do the audio or something of the press conference. So Richard Allen was sentenced to 130 years for Delphi murders of Libby, German, and Abigail Williams. Judge Gold sentenced Allen to 65 years for the murder of Abby and 65 for the murder of you meant to put Libby. The maximum length for both conviction. Hey, thanks, Death by Chocolate. Gold told the court there was an extraordinary impact on the families of the two girls. She said it was a generational impact. The term was coined by Libby's grandmother in speaking to the judge and courtroom, saying the impact of these murders is going to last for generations. These families will deal with your carnage forever, Gold said when looking at Richard Allen. In November, a jury found Allen guilty on 4 murder charges. And thanks very much, Death by Chocolate. I think that's an actual true statement. I think I love chocolate so much that I think you could eat it to the point where... Anyways, these families will deal with the carnage forever, Gold said when looking at Richard Allen. In November, a jury found Allen guilty on 4 murder charges, 2 for each girl. Under Indiana state law, an individual can only be sentenced for murdering an individual once. Counts 1 and 2 were dismissed by the judge. He sentenced on counts 3 and 4. Carroll County Prosecutor Nick McClellan asked the judge to seal the autopsy and crime scene photos, which were a big part of this morning's hearing. The families of Abby and Libby lashed out against the defense team, saying they allowed recklessness to allow those photos to be leaked online, causing tremendous harms to the families. Regarding mitigating factors, Gold noted that Allen has no previous criminal history, but said based on the heinous nature of the crime, she did not give any weight to that. Yeah, and nor should she have. Carrie Timmons, Libby's mother, said during sentencing that it has been absolutely hell for Libby's family for 8 years. She said she was left with a literal hole in her soul. I never understood how you were able to get away with this for so long, Timmons said, speaking to Allen. The grandparents of one of the victims spoke directly to Allen, saying they could not forgive him at this point. They said they still sit with a tremendous amount of pain. The gag order was lifted by Goal on Friday. Families have not been able to speak Throughout the course of the trial and leading up to the trial, Richard Allen asked for his family not to be present at sentencing. Wow, there you go. That's the picture they got of him. Have him right there. Just a second. Alright. Hey, thanks, Crime Cricket. Wouldn't be anywhere else to celebrate. Hey, very cool. Well, thanks for being here. Let's see, he knows he's effing guilty. Does it say which prison? I didn't say. I think it's the same one. I thought it was one of the two that he's been in so far. Well, it's just the BS is going to continue. They're going to go for an appeal, and it's just going to, you know, lots of stuff they'll be trying to do. They're going to try to say he shouldn't be able to present the Odinist stuff, etc. Yeah, he didn't want him there. I think that, you know what I think? I think it's because, I bet you they know that he did it. And eventually after he was found guilty, they told him, and he's angry at them. And he doesn't want him there. Because why else wouldn't you want him there? Because you didn't want them to hear the impact statements? And you wanted them to maybe still love you and not, I mean, who the hell knows, you know?
Where we're seeing some of these traits that describe the oldest versus the youngest.
Yeah, does anybody... I'd love to see the press conference, though. Susan Hendricks replying, so let's see what she said. Seven long years. Yeah. Been crazy. Yeah, you'd think Kathy... well, the thing is, I think Kathy probably saw him, the person on the bridge, and thought, wow, that does look like him. But he said he never went to the bridge. He just said he went to the trails. All right. Well, she said she's recording it, but she's not streaming it. Is it Court TV on YouTube or the Court TV on their website? Oh, okay. I see.
This press conference that's going to
There it
happen.
is.
It's about a mile and a half
So at the
away
worst, we'll just
from
listen
where
to
the
it.
courthouse
I'll bring
is.
it in
So
every
we know
once in a
people
while,
are going
but-
to be gathering, and we have joining the conversation now. Court TV anchor Ted Rollins is here to react to this major news today. Ted, you have been
Ted Rollins is the guy that I was on
involved
with.
in covering this case and creating our documentary on the Delphi murders. Your thoughts on 130 years?
Well, it was a statement by Judge Gall, who is, you know, that she
This
she
guy
has
right
been an
there.
interesting judge. Let's leave it at that. We haven't been able to see anything because she doesn't want anything.
I think I was on with Sebastian
for whatever
Rogers.
reason. But she did want to make this statement. And apparently, according to Barbara in her reporting, she scolded Richard Allen in fine Judge Gall form. Always.
Oh, that's not live.
It's
Hold on. Oh, there you go. Well, I guess that was live.
you know, the 130 years is a statement. He's not going to live anywhere close to that, but it's
He
a
isn't?
statement. And if he's the right guy, which I do believe he
Thanks,
is,
Vegas
we
Andrews.
just didn't get to see the trial, then this is a statement by society. What you did is the most heinous, horrible thing imaginable. Taking these two.
All right, so there you go. You got the it's right there. So yeah, I was on when I went on for the verdict watch. I mean, I felt so fortunate to be on there for that. I was on verdict watch. I think he was one of the other 4 people that were on there. Oh, you texted me? What did you? Something different than this, or? Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully we can hear this. At the very least, we'll have the audio going. You know, I'll probably put on the screen every once in a while. Oh man, this is crazy. I want to hear what people are saying and thinking. I wonder if, but the gag order's lifted, so I think they can maybe even say stuff. I don't know. They can say stuff that they couldn't really convey before. No way should Despicable Baldy and Rosie be allowed to represent him after their many leaks of documents and photos since they... Right, well, they're the reason that the family for forever will have to have crime scene photos out in the public. Photos that they never wanted people to see, and they never really should have been seen because Richard Allen... I mean, I think all of us, just out of curiosity, wanted to have a trial. Yeah, the press conference all over the place. But, yeah, everybody wanted to see a trial, but it never should have made it to trial. Because this is a case where Richard Allen confessed multiple times prior to ever even acting crazy. Okay? Hey, it's the docket. WTHR press conference. Today's the day. Yep. Yeah, they're still talking about it over here. I guess we could listen in for a minute.
This is a weird part of the equation, and Matthew can, I'm sure, have an opinion on this. When you have a heinous crime, everyone is defended, right? Everyone has either a public defender or a lawyer. And I know many defense lawyers who are holding their nose sometimes at the defense table because they know their guy did it. They know what the person did is horrible. They put on a very aggressive defense, and at the end of the day, they're kind of happy that the guy was found guilty because they know.
But that's not the case in this one.
Right.
Right.
This is different. These attorneys are like, you got the wrong guy. And I can't
They're
get
lying
my
to you.
head around it.
This guy.
And they're good attorneys. They're not. It's just they're aggressive.
No, see, look at that. I don't know why people buy into this stuff. These guys, it's been happening. You see it, all these quote experts on. They keep saying, "Man, I really think he's innocent. I don't think he did this." Well, what are you going to say? Of course you're going to say that. Or are you going to say, well, I think he did it, but for the sake of trying to get him off, I'm going to say, no, he didn't do it. Wow. I mean, it's so ridiculous that people think there's weight to it. So, like, even this guy right here, he's talking to the attorneys, and he's giving weight to the fact that they're saying, we really don't think he did it. Or do you think they're going to tell you out loud, hey, listen, guy, we think he did it, but I don't know, man. That's just it's ridiculous to me. Hey, thanks so much, Crime Cricket. Gifted memberships to Tuesday Low. How do you say that? Low. I guess low. And then very fine. Dankness, the hog, darkness, Jess, Offadal, Sash Shah, and Lulu, UCNA. So that's what it looks like right here. Yep. Looking forward to the press conference. So I'll be back in just a second. All right. Hey, thank you, Tumbleweed, Justice for Abby and Libby. Thank you for your analysis, maps, drone work. Hey, yeah, no problem. Yeah, I think some of that drone footage is pretty cool. Flying down the creek, being able to look around with the 360-degree camera. Christoph Get said, I'm from Germany. Don't know U.S. legal system. Can Richard Allen appeal the verdict? Yeah, he can do appeals. Yeah. He's going to try to get another trial. I mean, you never know. It might be possible. It's common for defense to state that client maintains innocence, but still help. Right. But they think he's factually innocent. How in the hell can anybody with a brain think Richard Allen is factually innocent? Every single piece of information points to him being the killer. Everything. He said he was there, okay? Now people go, well, why would he do that? Well, the reason he did that was because on the 14th, the girls' bodies were found. The very next day, the 15th, law enforcement put out a picture of Richard Allen. They just didn't know who it was. Then the next day, Richard Allen comes in, and by the way, when they put the picture out, they said, we just want to talk to this person and see what they may have seen. And guess what? The next day, he came in. Now, if Dan Doolin at the time had said, yeah, we know you were there, Richard Allen. Here's a picture of you we got on a trail camera. The case would have been over 2 years, like 2 weeks into it. It would have been over a long time ago. Yeah. So, yeah, he was there, everybody. It's just, that's why I don't understand why people think, it just doesn't make any sense at all. So he got a hold of Dan Doolin, and that's why he was trying to get ahead of the story. You know how people do, the criminals often insert themselves because, especially in a case like this, when 3 girls saw him, and now there's a picture of him, and he wants to see what they might know or something. He comes forward, and amazing for him, he didn't realize that, well, I guess I could say, amazing for him, he sat around for 5 years wondering why nobody had ever come back to his door. He was probably shocked by that. And I think the investigators are shocked that they missed this. Okay? I am. I think that they're absolutely shocked by that they missed that themselves, because this case should have been over a long time ago. But then Dan Doolin did interview him, and then when he interviewed Richard Allen said he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. He passed 3 girls. He said he parked at the old Farm Bureau building, but there isn't one there. The only old building that he could park at would be the abandoned CPS building. There are no other old buildings that are on public property over there. So he parked at the abandoned CPS, and eventually he said the old building. So he parked there. And then he said when he got there, he went on to the Freedom Bridge, and he passed 3 girls, and then he made his way to the Monon High Bridge to look at fish. He didn't say stop anywhere. He didn't say anything like that. He said he went to the bridge. And those 3 girls, when they saw the picture of Bridge Guy, said, yes, that's the person we saw. Betsy Blair, when showed a picture of the Bridge Guy, said, yes, that's the person we saw. Sarah Karboff, you believe that story? She also said, yep, that's the person I saw walking on 300. Richard Allen described himself as the person those people saw, with blue jeans, a dark blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hoodie, some sort of head covering, which turns out what he eventually said it was a skull cap. So, and then there's a bullet found at the crime scene that matched Richard Allen's, the type of bullets that his .40 caliber Sig Sauer gun shoots. Hold on a second. It just goes on and on, man. You could sit there for hours. I don't know where these people think that, where's the out for Richard Allen? Can anybody, if there was one piece that I went, whoa, that really, wow, that makes you wonder about something. There isn't anything like that. Have you guys noticed that? There's nothing like that at all, that you sit around and you go, what about this? The thing that people want you to focus, they try to get you to do, is to question the validity of something for the out. But there isn't one piece of evidence that the defense team presented that you go, man, that is basically exculpatory. Wow, that's amazing. Nothing. And the reason they weren't able to do that is because Richard Allen is the killer. There isn't anything. You can try to use smoke and mirrors to get people to believe something else, or to look a different direction and sort of question something like, hey, the ballistics information isn't that great, the cell phone data, that blah, 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 blah. But where's the piece of information that shows that Richard Allen wasn't there? He even said he was there during the entire time. Yeah. I guess what the defense tries to say is that when he said I was there between 1:30 and 3:30, meaning he's just saying a range of time that he was there. Okay, well, it's not 12 to 1:30, which he switched it to after he was arrested. Yeah. I'm still monitoring over here. It doesn't look like they're started it yet. It's over here. Let me message and see when it starts. And you know what's funny is people always go, Gray, you keep repeating yourself. And the thing is why wouldn't I? There's only a certain set of facts in the case, and they all point one direction. Am I supposed to invent something else when I rehash the case? There isn't anything different. I mean, during the trial, we got a whole bunch of more corroborating pieces of information. For sure. The judge was 100% biased. No, she wasn't. She took over the case, and then after a while realized the sort of sneaky crap that the defense team was doing, and then realized, based on the information in the case, that his attorneys were not helping him at all. They were just trying to use smoke and mirrors, and she knew that they weren't going to be allowing the Odinist stuff in there because there's no information that places any of the Odinists at the crime scene. However, if you want to tell me that Richard Allen was a closet Odinist, then sure, I'll believe it. Yeah, go ahead. Did he bring one of his Odinist buddies there? Well, we don't know, because he's never mentioned anybody else that was at the crime scene with him. And he can't, because that still implies that he was part of the murders. Yeah, so even if there is somebody else, we likely won't hear of it. Okay, so 25 minutes for now. All right. Sweet. We'll just stare at the screen there, which isn't really going on at the moment. I'm gonna eat a bite of my apple, though, if you guys don't mind. The best apple on the planet. Man, you gotta love those Honey Crisps, man. You gotta love those. "30 people left when I took a bite of the apple." Not sad. All right, let's get some. There's got to be some more writings out there now. All right. So Delphi, Richard Allen sentenced to 130 years. Let's do what the Indianapolis Star said. Hey, thanks, Sarah B. I wish you guys would watch some of my other shows and my other stuff, the other stuff that we cover. Recently, I mean, sometimes when I'm doing like the bigger cases, I get a lot of people watching, but sometimes the smaller ones, they just don't get. The hell. After sentencing, Richard Allen's defense attorney says family declines comment. Okay. Killing 2 teen girls. Okay. An Indiana judge on Friday sentenced Richard Allen, who recently convicted for the February 2017 killings of 2 teen girls, had been walking on a hiking trail in Delphi. The sentence includes 65 years for the felony murder of both, so combined 130 years. Allen's attorneys plan to appeal, saying in a memo filed earlier this week that Allen maintained his innocence. Wow. Well, if he maintains his innocence, you guys, he must be innocent. A Carroll County jury... Hold on. A Carroll County jury in November found Allen guilty of murdering Abby, 13, and Libby, 14, who disappeared during their walk on the Monon High Trail. Yeah. I always think it's weird when they recap it like that. I don't know why. Feels like we just... I mean, I know they're speaking to people who haven't heard it, but just like I go over the timeline over and over again. Richard Allen, the man convicted of Delphi murders, learned his punishment Friday. Special Judge Fran Gould sentenced Allen to 130 years for murders of Abby Williams and Libby German, whose bodies were found in February 2017.
From his house.
Oh, I love that. Great point. All right, well, let's get a break. We'll go back.
I guess that's a different case there. Well. No, we already read that one. Okay, I think this is the one we did.
Good morning, 10:18, and we're in.
We did before. No, that's not the one. Ah, Jesus. Yeah, okay. Somebody said, an innocent man is being sentenced to life in prison behind those top floor windows right now. I said, you sound a bit delusional. Richard Allen is in fact the killer. He admitted it, and the facts show that he is. Gray, can't they just have their own opinion? Gee. I guess, but if you want to sit there and defend a double child killer, you go right ahead. I'm just not going to listen to it. I'm going to reply. The murders, I think she was just there, right? Alga Williams and Libby German were the result of hatred. Hatred for women, perhaps. Hatred for race traders. Well, no, that's complete garbage. See, look at this. This is one of those conspiracy nutters here. The murder of Alga Williams and Libby German were the result of hatred. Hatred for women, perhaps. Hatred for race traders. Hatred for the privileged, the elite, the other. Who the hell are you talking about? What? So he's trying to imply that it's the Odinists. Richard Allen has been sentenced to 130 years in prison. That is the maximum punishment under the law. This is the biggest travesty I've ever seen in all my years following cases. I'm not surprised it's sentenced by Judge Gold, because she's a horrible human. But Richard Allen's great, right? After killing 2 girls with a knife. You're disgusting. What do you mean an update, Tumbleweed? What are you talking about? Update on what? Such a good outcome. Thanks for all the work on it. Yeah, we say howdy here. It's awesome. Thanks to Paulette and Alex and Gloria for the buy me a coffee. I'm not covering Jody Husentrut. I don't even know what that is. Ray, the Odin nutcases want to put all their faith in... I mean, maybe... Did I cover that one a while ago? Husentrut? I don't know. Let me see. Maybe my brain just doesn't remember. No. I haven't. When? I don't have her name inside here. Yeah, I covered the Murdaugh trial when it happened the first time, Anna. Every single day, the entire time. He's the killer in that case, too. There's no doubt about it at all. I mean, it's just... If they do another trial and, you know, they don't allow, you know, some of the stuff that they allowed because the door was open, it's just going to suck. Because Alec Murdaugh is the killer in that case. There's absolutely no doubt. He was at least there with somebody else who did it. Yeah, it's just so obvious. And it's just one of those other cases that people jump on and they want somebody to be innocent for some weird reason. I don't know. Maybe a fetish of some sort. I don't know. Hey, Zoe413, when you say yes, what does that mean? News reporter? It's possible that I did. Just some of my pins are missing. Oh, yeah, that kind of looks familiar, doesn't it? Well, there's the update right here. And has not been seen or heard. Now the Mason City Police Department is working with... I don't remember... I remember her face looks really familiar, though. Yeah, I don't know. See, I don't have a pin in Google Earth for it, so. Yeah, the trial's pretty good. Wish I'd followed back during Murdaugh. Yeah, I covered the whole thing and had it all mapped out, all the different steps, and here, I'll show you. we even covered it before he was even arrested, you know, like the incidents. So let's see. Okay, look at all the pins and everything associated with it. Yeah, right here. Look at all that. Yeah. I think I even did an overlay. It's not there anymore, but it was pretty cool. Anyways, that was a long time ago. Just kind of waiting over here for the press conference. It's 12 minutes away, I guess. It is a good day. 130 years. And the gag order's lifted. So I texted one of the investigators, and they said, yep, thank you. So I said, 130 years, good job. So much evidence against that monster. Yeah, I mean, it's really clear. Yeah, 11:30, yeah. So 11:30 is in 12 minutes, right? Well, thanks, Fig Solves. You too. You said, Gray, everything you did for this case was amazing. Thank goodness for you. Seriously. Well, thank goodness for you as well. Yeah, I mean, so there's actually people out there that try to figure out what's actually going on. And, you know, you develop relationships, and some people have inside information. I think what I did mostly was at the beginning of the case, in the Delphi case, nobody knew anything. Nobody knew where the photos were taken. They knew it was on the Monenhigh Bridge, but it was so confusing because the bridge looks the same, basically, similarly on both sides. So I figured out, just using different photographs and images that people had, that it was that the murders took place on the southeast side of the bridge. And then based on that information, and then the crime scene, there was a crime scene video that somebody put out on Twitter, a reporter, and based on the fact that I knew it was over here, and then looking at the picture that they had, I found there's like a tree that overhangs right there, and that her video was taken from about right over in this position. And you could see that tree, and then I realized, okay, they crossed the shallow bar area, and here's where the crime scene was. So I put together a whole bunch of different videos showing all that, and that got it into people's minds, the flow of the crime. And it's amazing because it's the same at trial as it was for me at the very beginning. This is the same stuff that I've been telling people for since February 22nd of 2017, which is only 8 days after the murders, or bodies were found, I mean. So, you know, I've been saying the same thing the whole time. I mean, you can go back and watch my Flow, seen it, you know, the Flow 3 video. It's even shows you, that was done in, I think, March of 2017. And it shows you exactly the same thing. You know, we became more accurate on each of the positions at a different point, but yeah, your work was absolutely excellent, great, top notch, convincing, accurate. Well, thank you. And if you consider becoming a channel member, you guys, you know, it'd be great to have more channel members in here. Get to use those cool emojis. Ah, jeez. What are you talking about? Free radical? Don't know what that means. Oh, what was the name of that 14-year-old girl who walked away after an argument and went missing? Yeah, I see what you're saying, free radical. Yeah, I mean, you got to be a little bit more descriptive than that. Well, you got a lot of the cool information, though, Fig solves, through some of your connections. That's for sure. You know, my connections, I was able to, you know, because I knew Becky and them early on, and got the timeline pretty accurate, you know, like it changed slightly, you know, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there over the years, but it was all the same stuff that you heard at trial. You know, so if you'd been watching this channel, you would have been prepared. You would have known what was going on. And that's one of the things I find frustrating. This is what I find frustrating, you guys. Because I've been covering the case for 7 years, and we've gone over it so many times that it makes sense. And, you know, we try to use logic and reason over the years. So we're kind of in this really sort of confined area of logic and reason, with thinking outside the box filled with facts, right? So that's what we've been doing. And then all of a sudden the case becomes bigger, and it isn't my channel that YouTube recommends, it's the conspiracy nut jobs that YouTube recommends. And so that their first exposure to it is from a crazy lunatic angle. Okay, that's where it comes. That's how people are introduced to it. So then when they come over to somebody like me after that, they go, "Oh God, you're full of crap, Gray. Oh, look at it, look at it. Because they heard over here by this amazing attorney. They said this and this and this." And it's just like, that's crazy. Hey, One Sly Angel, I'm trying to do it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not sure why you're putting that in there. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Yep, about 30 people left after that one. Thanks, One Sly Angel. Yeah, we'll definitely be playing it over here. We're just waiting until 11:30. Hey, what's going on? Hey, thanks, Michael Kishel. Well, live streaming the post said, oh, well, there we go. I guess we can watch it here. Indiana State Police will be live streaming the post-sentencing press conference from the Delphi trial. Should begin at approximately 11:15. Is that it right there, though? Oh, there it is. Awesome. Heck yeah. Sweet. And if the audio's low, I'm going to and thanks Ada or Easy, whoever sent that over. So if it's too low, I'll boost it up for you guys. I know, it's so frustrating for me. I gotta tell you, the way it works on social media. You know, whoever is the biggest hype person and puts out the most sort of sensationalistic shit, everybody gravitates to like a magnet. But if you really want to be somewhere where you're going to get to the reality, I would say this is where you want to be. And we'll be doing the Idaho 4 case, etc. Well, cool. I'm glad Indiana State Police... Where'd those seats go, though? Remember those chairs that were all back there? I guess they decided to remove those.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2 minutes. We'll start in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Mic check. Everybody good? Everybody good on sound? Okay. Thank you.
Could you guys hear that?
Okay. Yep. Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Man, I'm pumped. Hey, thanks Mountain Man for the coffee. Guys got to help me stay awake over here. Yeah, so we cover the Idaho 4 case exactly the same way. That one just has more information. Oh, look at that. That was Frank Meister right there. Oh, here we go, here we go. Oh, sweet, there's Holman, Carter. Oh, he's got his full dress on. McClellan.
Good morning. My name is Jeremy Piers with Indiana State Police. I'd like to thank you all for being here today and for your continued cooperation throughout the course of this trial. I'd also like to extend a special thank you to the Canal Center for allowing us to use their facility today. As we move forward, we remain committed to keeping Abigail Williams and Liberty German at the center of our focus. Their memory has guided us every step of the investigation, and the photo displayed behind us serves as a powerful reminder of why we are here and what this case has always been about. Due to the gag order, it has been some time since we have spoke publicly about this case. Now that the order has been lifted, we're grateful to be here today and speak to all of you. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce to you the speakers: Mike Patty from the families, Carroll County Sheriff Tony Liggett, Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter, and Carroll County Prosecutor Nick McClellan. At the conclusion of their remarks, Prosecutor McClellan will take a limited number of questions, and he has requested that all questions be directed to him. On behalf of those standing behind me here today, and all those who have dedicated countless hours into this investigation, we thank you all for your continued support. I'd like to introduce to you our first speaker, Mike Patty.
Thank you, Jeremy. I don't have a nice speech all prepared. It was kind of a last minute thing here, but I really wanted to take the time to send out my appreciation that justice has been served for the girls. I want to thank the jurors. I hope they get a chance to see this, that they took time out of their lives and remained open-minded and objective and was able to look at the information and deliver a verdict. For that, I will always be grateful. The community. This community has embraced our families from day one and continues to lift us up and support us. And again, for that, I'll always be grateful. I want to thank them. To the investigative team and the prosecution, thank you for staying steadfast and continuing to work towards this. been almost 8 years coming. If I live to make it 80, it'll almost be 10% of my life. It's been spent working on this. And to the judge, I want to thank her as well for her steadfast staying on course, staying on track, and helping us get through this. Thank you very much. Tony?
Good morning. The end of 2016 and the beginning of 2017 completely changed the fabric of Carroll County. We lost 6 beautiful young girls, and all of that happened within a 6-month time span. My office is not a part of the investigation into the Flora fires that's being headed up by the state police. We would do anything that they would ask for us to do, and I know they're working extremely hard on that case as well. Carroll County is a tight-knit community, about 20,000 people. It used to be a place where people didn't lock their doors. I believe that the verdict and the sentencing will help ease some of that sense of security for the people of Carroll County. The people who live here are very resilient. I think you can see that just in the families, the Germans, the Patties, the Williams. Carroll County is an amazing place to live, to work, to raise your family. I want to thank all of the people of Carroll County and the families for their patience during this investigation. I keep hearing the word closure. People are coming up to me saying, I bet that you're glad that there's finally closure. There will never be any closure in this case. The Germans and the Williams family lost their daughters, their granddaughters, their siblings. Justice, a form of justice was served, but it does not bring Abby or Libby back. These families will live every day without 2 of the most important people in their lives. They're missing milestones because of a low-life coward decided to take their innocent lives. They did not deserve this. Today is not closure. It is just turning the page and starting a new chapter. My heart is and always has been broken for these families. I want them to know that we stand with them, and I want to apologize to them that it took 8 years for us to get to this point. This case was quite the undertaking for the Carroll County Sheriff's Office with bringing it to a conclusion. You see a lot of them right here, and there are many that aren't standing up here. There are so many agencies to thank for standing by our side. Just to give you an idea of the support that we had just for the trial, we had 36 outside agencies help us for just the security during the trial. On the afternoon of February 14th, at least that many came to help us investigate this case. Everyone from detectives down to dispatchers to help investigate or just answer phones. I remember a conversation after we found the girls with Jerry Holman about whether or not we were going to take the case or Indiana State Police were going to take the case. Well, it was not my decision. It was not my decision, but I knew we didn't have the resources needed to do this on our own. Holman made a commitment that if we took the case, ISP wouldn't leave us and they would stand by our side and provide any of those resources that we needed, and they did just that. Tobe Lesenby was the sheriff at the time, and he asked ISP to stand with us. I want to thank Doug Carter and the rest of the Indiana State Police for being with us during this time. The reason justice was served today was due to one person, a person that only knows how to give. She has given herself literally for free to this investigation in different ways since about March of 2017. Kathy Shank, while filing, scanning, organizing, found a tip that led us to be here today. Throughout this investigation, especially when things happened during the month, for things that happened during the month of 2017. That was a time when Kathy was not helping us. When she would come across something that she didn't know, she would always bring that to an investigator. And every time that she brought us something and said, "Did you know this?" we knew it, except for the tip that she brought us that got us here today. To borrow a term I believe was started by Becky Patty, a saying that meant enough to me that I had it on a sticker on my computer, in my car, and on my refrigerator at home. The goal was actually to be able to say the words, and they ring true. There is zero doubt that justice has been served, and today is the day. Thank you.
I had prepared remarks today, but I decided walking in here that I wasn't going to read them. John Perrine reminded me that 2,866 days ago, this entire thing began. I didn't know what I would think, and I didn't realize today we were going to be walking into the same room where many of you were, I believe, in, again, from memory, April of 2019 or that time frame. And over the course of these last many years now, several of us, me included, have been mocked and ostracized for our emotion, for our inability to answer questions that you might ask, and the thought that we're something other than human beings. I'm not going to apologize for that. I often say I wish people could see what goes on behind the scenes, and not just the people dressed like me, but citizens of this county and of this city. It's amazing, amazing acts of unbelievable courage and self-service and self-sacrifice. I wish you all could have been in the courtroom today and heard the victim impact statements. I'll always remember them, and I hope you'll get the transcripts and read what was said and try and understand the context of those words, even though you weren't in the courtroom. Over the course of these last many years, there have been many investigative strategies. Any notion of a cover-up, any notion of us deciding the outcome of this, any notion of any connection to anything else is not correct. It's not correct. I've never been a detective in my entire lifetime, but I get to represent some of the best on the planet Earth. And I listened to them intently. And when they made strategy decisions associated with what the next steps would be, my job was to support them, and I stand by those decisions, every single one of them. The gag order. We lived by that. We lived by that gag order. The defense did not. And it cost a human life.
There you go.
Anybody that shares those photographs of those two little girls should be held accountable. Whether they're in the public sphere, whether they're emailed to you, whether you found them in a place you didn't want them to see. I hope that if you ever see them, you'll picture your own children as Abby and Libby. I'll never forgive that. I will never, ever forgive that. We lived by the gag order. Documents were released from the defense.
Robert Fortson.
That drove a public narrative that many of you talked about.
Exactly.
And damn it, I wish I could have responded. But I was not going to violate what Judge Gall said.
What the hell's going on?
So they were able to get these documents out there and create a public narrative that you and many others, many of you, and many others believed around the globe. Baldwin and Razer are responsible for that.
God, he sounds like me.
Not this team.
God, that's exactly right. This is awesome.
The family effects, I think you'll see the words that were spoken by the folks that spoke today about their lives and how they've been forever changed, how they'll never be the same. And they said it in ways that were beautiful in some kind of a mysterious way. There's an attorney in Indianapolis by the name of Guy Relford. And I heard Guy on the radio after the verdict when a lot of hate mail came, death threats came. And I heard Guy Relford say that day on the radio, and I called him 15 minutes after he said it. And after 40 years in this business, I never thought about the jury's perspective. But he said the only people that mattered in that courtroom was the jury. And he went on to talk about, he's a very bright attorney, he went on to talk about what they can see that we can't, that you couldn't. They could see the defense, they could see the state, they could see the witnesses, feel the emotion, and they could see Richard Allen. I've never thought about that perspective because we have a singular view most times. You, me, it's human nature. Judge Gall was the keeper of the peace in that courtroom, but the people that mattered were those 12 jurors. And we have a system of justice that allows them to decide the fate of a human being. That's what our founders had established. And that's what they did. I hope you all understand that what you say and how you report matters more than you can ever possibly comprehend. This is an opportunity for us to all learn about what social media is and isn't, what we should do and what we shouldn't, and understand that their words have consequences to other human beings. I appreciated Guy's perspective, and it changed my view of the criminal proceeding. Richard Allen knew. We live in a country where people can hate. People can say things about other people. And that's okay. Hate me. It's okay. It's one of the only countries in the world where you can. So hate me if you want to. The investigative collaboration is something that I'll remember for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life. There's no way we could possibly chronicle it or articulate it or write about it or anything. There's no way we could ever do that. We are human beings, and there were mistakes made. But there was never a mistake made that we knew was wrong when we did it. I'll crawl across shards of hot glass for Jerry Holman. Jerry Holman is not a liar. Jerry Holman gave the last 8 years of his life to something much greater than himself. We fussed with each other throughout the course of this in conclusion. We argued with each other. I remember Tobe and I had an argument right here in this other room in April of 19, as you should expect us to. There was no groupthink. We debated each other, as you should expect us to. But then the defense spins that into incompetence. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous nonsense for Baldwin and Rozzi to have done that. And finally, most importantly, to the Delphi community and to the family of Abby and Libby. Words cannot possibly explain what we all feel. But what Nick McClellan did and the rest of the team that was associated with this, every single time it was about something other than themselves. It was about this community and that family. And we owe them a debt of gratitude that can never possibly be repaid. How about we start to heal now? How about we hit that reset button and understand that justice in this country was served, and if you don't like justice in this country, go do another one. Let's heal. Tone down the rhetoric. Stop all the politics and all the nonsense and all the conspiracy theories and understand that we all tried the best we could. That should be the message to us and to our kids and to this most amazing place we call the United States of America. Well done. Thank you all.
Good morning. Can we all just have a little bit of a sigh of relief?
Couldn't agree more.
This thing is over finally. The convictions come in. We've got the verdict. We got the sentence, 130 years in the Department of Corrections. And while I don't think ever this verdict or this conviction will ever bring peace to the family, I hope that they can take this sigh of relief with me to say that this part of the trial is over, that we got the conviction, that we got the sentence that brings justice for Abby and Libby. A few of the things I am going to say are going to echo what Sheriff Liggett said, what Superintendent Carter said, and what Mike Patty said. But I'd be remiss if I didn't thank some people along the way. Law enforcement, Carroll County Sheriff's Department, Indiana State Police, Department of Natural Resources, all the agencies that assisted in this investigation and the prosecution of the defendant, I want to thank. They were attacked by members on the internet for their integrity. They were called corrupt. They were called evil. And they were called liars. And they weathered that storm with professionalism and did what they could to be a shield for the families. Spent countless hours chasing down leaks of crime scene photos, countless hours attempting to scrub the internet of those crime scene photos, and countless hours trying to protect the family as best as they could. And so to them, ISP, Carroll County Sheriff's Department, DNR, the other agencies that assisted, thank you. We would not be here today if it were not for your efforts and your countless hours that you sacrificed away from your family and your friends to give us the evidence that we needed to get the conviction. I want to thank my team, Stacy Diener, James Luttrell. There is no way I could have tried this case without them. We spent countless hours working on this case, away from our families, away from our friends, and no one will understand the heart and the effort that they poured into this. So thank you. I want to thank Kathy Shank. She kept us well fed. She was the grandmother of our office, if you will. She made sure that whatever we needed, she took care of, and she never complained. And without her, we would not be here. Without her countless hours of going over filings, of scanning in documents, of looking at reports, and having the wherewithal to bring this to the attention of Sheriff Liggett, to say, hey, I haven't seen this before. Has anybody followed up with this person? Without her, we would not be here. Without her, we would not have an arrest, a conviction, and a sentence.
That's so cool.
She was the key part to this investigation. The needle in the haystack, if you will, that brought this investigation to a close to where we could make an arrest. Kathy Shank, I thank you. And finally, the family. The Williams, the Germans, the Patties. Thank all you guys. The support you gave me throughout this. Those times when I said you had to abide by the gag order, that you wanted to respond to the things that were being put out there, the allegations against you, against your family members, that you respected me to the point where you were willing to agree to abide by that gag order for the betterment of the case. The fact that you supported me throughout it, and I know there may be times you doubted, but you endured. And without your help, we wouldn't have got the conviction. And without your victim impact statements and the graceful words that you gave to the court about how this has influenced your lives, we wouldn't have got the sentence that we got. 130 years. Maximum sentence on each count. And so I thank you. Finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Abby and Libby themselves. Libby, for recording the defendant as he walked across the bridge, having the wherewithal to pull out her phone and record that individual, having the wherewithal to know that something wasn't right. Arguably the biggest piece of evidence that we had, that recording of their killer. And then to Abby for hiding the phone. Hiding the phone from the killer so that he couldn't take it with him. Hiding the phone so that law enforcement could find it and get that piece of evidence that Libby had collected. Without the efforts from those two little girls, we wouldn't be here today. So Abby and Libby, thank you. I want to say we're very happy with the jury's verdict. We're elated with the judge's ruling, or not the judge's ruling, the judge's sentence. The sentence is appropriate. As Judge Gall stated in court, the aggravators outweighed the mitigators, and the heinous nature of this crime deserve a fully executed sentence. I'll end with this. I want to thank the media for keeping this case in the forefront, for keeping the tips coming in for us to investigate. But I will leave you this word of caution. Please, as Superintendent Carter said, the crime scene photos are still out there. And more may be out there in the future. Please, if you receive those, delete those. Don't forward those on. Don't re-victimize the family and the other family members. You can write whatever story you want and report however you want. You do not need those crime scene photos to do so. All it does is re-victimize the families and hurt the reputation of Abby and Libby. So please, if you get those, do not forward those on. If you get any other crime scene photos or autopsy photos or anything, don't forward those on. As Superintendent Carter said, imagine if they were your kids, your grandkids. You can write a story without having those pieces as part of the narrative. So please, do not forward those on. I want to thank the community finally. Everybody in the community locally has supported my office, supported law enforcement. The show of support from them has been just unforgettable. I appreciate everything everyone's done. I appreciate the prayers. I appreciate the handshakes, the support, everything that everybody's done throughout this course of the 8-year investigation. When this investigation started, I was actually a defense attorney. I ran for the prosecutor's office in January 1st of 2018, and I knew coming into that office that this case was one that I would have to investigate. And I made it one of my goals not only to investigate it, but to get an arrest, have the trial, and get a conviction. And all the support I had throughout that time, I appreciate it. And so, as Trooper Pierce said, I'm going to answer a few questions. The gag order is lifted. You're more than welcome to talk to anybody up here individually afterwards if they want to talk to you. But I will take a few questions here and now.
Nick, what did you do to help the family navigate the emotions of the swirling narratives outside of the gag order and also the hate and vitriol put onto this case?
It's not easy. It's hard to put yourself in their shoes because I've never had a child die. And so it was very difficult. It took a lot of phone calls, text messages, meetings. A lot of it was, hey, try not to read that stuff that you see on the internet, which is easier said than done. But a lot of it was just moral support and leaning on each other to say, we can't violate the gag order. Let's keep our eye on the ball. We need to get the trial, and we want to try to get the conviction, and then we can talk. And so it was just a lot of words of encouragement between each other, moral support, text message, phone calls, those kind of things.
What happened with Miss O'Jay at the end of the hearing? What was that fight about?
It wasn't a fight. She was just commenting about some things that were said at sentencing, and I'm just going to keep those things to myself.
Up in your face, though. That's not a fight.
Well, I don't know if she got up in my face. I'll just keep those things to myself. She was just commenting on things that were said at the sentencing. Yes, ma'am.
The defense has made it clear they plan to appeal. Your thoughts on their chances?
Well, it's not up to the defense. It's up to the defendant. I'm not going to repeat his name. He's the defendant at this point. And so he has 30 days to file notice with the court that he wants to appeal.
What is the
If he
conduct?
doesn't file that notice, then there is no appeal. And so once he files that notice, we'll deal with it accordingly. We'll work with the Attorney General's office to represent the state and we'll give them whatever support that they need in order to draft a response to that appeal.
But I guess given all the questions and you all have rested up here how frustrating it was, your confidence in the security of this verdict and then this maximum sentence?
I feel confident in the verdict and the sentence, but again, I'm not on the Court of Appeals, so they'll have to make that decision if it comes to them. So, Ms. Well, at this point, we don't believe any other actors are involved. We don't have any evidence to support that. If evidence comes out in the future to support that, we'll obviously investigate that. We're not going to say, hey, no, we got the conviction. We're not listening to what you have to say. But at this point, we have no other evidence showing that any other actors were involved.
Right.
If Richard Allen himself, the defendant, wants to come forward and give us more information,
I just said that before the show.
The amended charges were we added the 2 counts of intentional murder. I did that because I thought it was appropriate at the time. Yep.
Can you tell us more about
Hold on just a minute. Do you have a question?
Yeah, can you tell us, or if you ask me to speak on behalf of other people, how it makes you feel with the guilty verdict and the sentence? Obviously, it's the outcome you guys wanted, but how does it make the entire case get where we are today?
I think, I hate to speak for everybody, but I think, I hate to be cliche and use the word justice, but justice, vindication, to show that the people standing behind me weren't liars, weren't corrupt. You know, those hate mails and hate messages continue to come in from some podcasters, some YouTubers. But I think just justification that, okay, we conducted a clean investigation, we presented the evidence as best we could, and the jury were convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that he was guilty. Yes.
Does this now mean that all the other men are clear? Can you use that word?
Who is all the other men?
The other men that were looked at during the course of the investigation. You always
What's the karma silence, Susie?
can you now say they're clear?
I may not use that word clear, but what I can tell you is we don't have any other evidence that ties them to the offense at this time.
Are you still looking into the Anthony Shots profile and any other secondary investigation?
What do you mean looking into the Anthony Shots profile?
Well, it doesn't mean that that's for information on that profile. On your custody at that time, and then it just kind of faded out.
Well, it didn't fade it out. He was convicted of what, 34, 35 counts? Not that we have any information of that right now. Sure. There's no significance in my mind to the timing. Once a person is convicted, they have a right to be sentenced within 30 days. And so I think the timing just was to try to get it in before the holidays because a lot of people do have time off and and the courthouses are closed. So there's no significance in my mind to the timing, but that it worked in everyone's schedule. I'm not sure I understand your question, but yeah, regardless of the time of the year, I imagine it's hard for the family to not be with the victims any day, whether it's somebody's birthday or somebody's anniversary, the other holidays we have out throughout the year. You know, Christmas is probably especially difficult. Again, I don't expect this verdict or the sentence to bring peace to the Patties, the Germans, or the Williams. I don't know what at this point could ever bring peace to a family member that loses a child or a parent that loses a child. What I hope is what I said. I hope it's a sigh of relief that this portion is over and that the conviction as it is now stands and that he's been sentenced to the maximum possible sentence. I hope that is a sigh of relief for them. And I hope that they now, like Superintendent Carter, can continue to heal and start to put this chapter behind them. That's why the plea to the media, please do not recirculate those pictures, because all that does, as Mr. Erskine said in his victim impact statement, it's like a scab or a wound that scabs over that is constantly ripped open. It's a constant reminder that our loved ones are put in this vulnerable position.
Should people face criminal charges or any kind of charges if they do publish or share those?
My opinion is if the Indiana Code allows criminal charges to be pressed for those kind of thing, if something comes in my office, criminal charges will be pursued if the criminal code allows it.
Superintendent Carter, can you speak to the number?
Well, he can ask some questions after we're done here. So
Would you concede that there are some holes in this case or things that
I'm not going to concede that. No. Go ahead. Sure.
Your take from your professional perspective in spite of the cases, I'm sure you've watched it throughout the case. What was your reaction now to that?
It's hard for me to see him because the way we were seated, especially during the trial, we were kind of all crammed. We call it the well. We're kind of all crammed in there, so it's kind of hard for me to focus on him. And the way I try cases is I'm pretty focused on what I'm doing, and I try not to get sucked into the reactions of other people. I like to watch what the jury's reactions to certain things are. And so a lot of the stuff that she commented on, I didn't see from him. What I did notice from him is what I said in my sentencing recommendation, just the lack of remorse and the lack of regret.
Who's Kathy
the lack
Silent?
of emotion, I guess, when the images of the victims are put up on the screen. You know, as a father, when I see those things, and you've probably seen me up here and other places, I get a little emotional about it, and it's hard not to. And so the lack of those things kind of struck me. I didn't see him roll in the eyes of the judge, of course, but obviously never a good thing to do. So those are my comments on that. Just one more. That'll be good. Yeah, sorry.
What piece of evidence, like from his demeanor to any parts of your case, what piece of evidence do you think did it for the jury and then to also elicit this maximum sentence? What do you think got us here?
Oh gosh, I don't know what did it for the jury. I think it was a culmination of everything that we had. I think once you start stacking that evidence against him, and as it stacks up, it's hard to say that the defendant isn't bridge guy. And if you can accept that he's bridge guy, you can accept that he's the killer.
There you go.
And that to me is the bottom line.
Haven't I said that exact sentence forever?
I think I would just echo what the superintendent said and what Sheriff Liggett said and some of the things that were said by the victims' families at court. If he truly wants to apologize to the families and admit to what he's done, now's the time to do that. So.
Can you say today that Carroll County is safer than it was 8 years ago?
I believe so.
What steps have been taken to make it safer?
No, there's no connection.
I think it's safer in the sense that people can have that sigh of relief to say, okay, we got the guy, we got the conviction. And so I think in that sense, it's safer. I've always thought I was born and raised here in Carroll County. I left, of course, to go to, and so this has always been my hometown. It's been my hometown for 3 generations or 4 generations in my family. And so I've always thought it's a safe place. And the things that Sheriff Liggett said, the thing that the victim said in the sentencing, that wasn't fluff, that we didn't lock our doors and that we knew everybody else. Those are true statements. This is a traditional, small, Midwestern town. And so I think it's always been safe. I think there can be that pressure off of people now to say, okay, I feel better. We got the guy, we got the conviction, and we know he's going to be in prison for 130 years. So, go ahead.
That'll be it for the questions today and for the press conference. I would just like to say thank you for all for coming out. As you go about your day, please remember the most important part of this entire thing, and that's the 2 girls that are behind us today. So as you go about your reporting, please do that and have a safe trip home. Thank you.
Well, there you go. I'm sure there'll be some interviews and stuff we can see later. I'll try to get, like, I don't know if it'll be today or whatever, but maybe I can have Becky, Mike, Kelsey. I don't know, maybe somebody else. Who knows? But there you have it. I mean, it's amazing. When listening to Doug Carter, his description of the defense team is exactly what I've been saying for a long time. They're just absolutely disgusting. Apparently, there's other photographs that are out there now. Oh, wait, let me turn down my audio that I boosted up. Now I'm really loud. Hold on. All right, there we go. That's more reasonable. And then listening to McClellan, that's exactly what I've said. When you look at the information, Richard Allen has to be bridge guy, and then once he's bridge guy, everything else falls into place, and it's absolutely believable. And he admits it, so it's like, I mean, for me, you can't really get a more clear case than this one. It's just so, especially with his confessions that had information that only the killer would know. But hope you guys see that if you were on this channel, you would have heard me say virtually exactly the same things that those two individuals, or basically Carter and McClelland, said. I've been saying for 2 years now since the arrest, or after the probable cause document came out. And then after the defense team started doing the crazy shit that they were doing by releasing images, apparently there's, autopsy images were put out there. And now they're tracking down that from the defense team, of course. I mean, nobody else would, nobody on the prosecution side would ever even want to do something like that. So the defense team is just a pile of, manure. I think those, I don't know what it is, but they've been so disturbing and disgusting during this case. Yeah. But anyways, you guys, I think that's going to do it, I think, for this coverage right here. And then tonight, I'll try to get together a bunch of different, obviously there'll be some interviews out there. Get some clips. I might go back to sleep. Thanks, Jenny, on the coffee, Susie, Paulette, Alex, Gloria, and Mountain Man. And thanks for all the new members, etc. Yeah, thanks for being here, you guys. I know it was kind of early. And for those who supported the channel, thanks to Keith Alessi, Kim W., a new member, Oogla Boogla, and then Susan, Herbert Landscaping, Susan, Carla M., then we have Take Me to the Riot, No FX Punk 99, yeah, Yorkshire T, Eleni K, Georgina Stoliker, Mothra, Crime Cricket, new member, then Georgina Stoliker, Gifted 5, then Death by Chocolate, Crime Cricket, Vegas Andrews, Crime Cricket, Gifted 5, and then Tumbleweed, Sarah B, Michael Kishel, Michael Kishel became a new member, Purple Blaze, Free Radical, Seb 385, oh wait, Cebu, excuse me. Cebu, I just remember. Or Seba, not Cebu. Seba, like saber-toothed tiger by an Australian. There we go, I just remembered. Seba. Hey, thanks, Cindy Lynn. And Alley Cake, Kim Wexler, Ponytail, Yobi Trice, and Cindy Lynn. And we had a troll up there earlier. They said that karma's coming for me. Karma is all I have to say. May God bless your worthless soul. Talking to me. What karma? I think karma is coming to people like you who support a double child killer named Richard Allen. I think you need to always be wondering if karma is going to hit you, because people like you are disgusting people, all right? Richard Allen is the killer. He's been found guilty by a jury of his peers. Remember, he's innocent until proven guilty, Gray. Well, he was proven guilty. All right? He is the killer, you whack jobs. All right? There is no doubt. And just like McClelland said, if Richard Allen wants to start pointing fingers at somebody else that might have been at the crime scene, then he can come forward and do so. But Richard Allen was indeed there. Richard Allen kidnapped the girls at the very minimum, and there is no evidence that there was anybody else, just as I've been saying for a long time. And Richard Allen is the killer. Now, if he wants to say somebody else was there, then feel free to give names and, unburden yourself, Richard. And he won't do that. You know why? Because there isn't anybody else. It's him. And by him doing that would also give him felony murder at the same time. Thanks, Herbert Landscaping. More karma for you. Yeah. Yeah, that's just, it's crazy, man. See, these are the same people that Doug Carter was talking about. What Doug Carter said was absolutely true. And I've been telling you guys that Rosie and Baldwin have been absolutely just horrendous people, but they're heroes to these nut jobs on the internet. And they're just not, you know. They leaked the crime scene photos that led to the death of a person named Robert Fortson. You know, he took his own life because those images were leaked and an investigation took place. And it was actually Mitch Westerman. See, so for those of you who are just watching, let me just tell you this part right here. See, Mitch Westerman is a friend of Baldwin. Worked with Baldwin. And the crime scene photos were originally leaked by Westerman to Baldwin to a guy named Mark Cohen. So it was like Westerman to Fortson to Cohen, right? But it led back to the law office of Baldwin, right? So to protect Baldwin, Mitch Westerman said that he was just in the office waiting around for Baldwin, you know, to talk to Baldwin, and lo and behold, laying around on the table were the crime scene photos. So he took photographs of those images. Okay, and then that was unbeknownst to Baldwin and them. So now he's taking Baldwin and Rosie out of the equation to protect them. The truth is that Mitch Westerman was given the Frank's memorandum, including the exhibits, which were the crime scene photos. So why would he need to take photographs of images he already had? Yeah, so what he did was he bit the bullet to protect the defense team. They wanted to put the defense team intentionally wanted those images released, and by going through multiple layers, they thought it protected themselves, but it led back to them. So Mitch Westerman bit the bullet for them. Now they did that though because they wanted to release the images because they thought it helped support their Odinist theory, because it shows the branches laying on the girls, the antlers, you know. There weren't any, by the way. There were just sticks on the ground, like all there's. I've shown you in my videos where at my 360-degree video there's sticks everywhere, little twigs and branches and sticks. There were no antlers, okay. But they thought though that it would help sell that narrative to the crazy people out there, and it worked. Look at what had that Odinist stuff never been brought up, I think the crazy people would be limited to the wackos that think like the Patties and those kind of people are involved. Instead, it opened up the door to these other people that think these Odinists did it, and it just led to this huge barrage of conspiracy theories, and even including these news channels out there that sort of give life to stuff like that and give credence to it. Now, if you ever watch this channel, I never did. I thought it was the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard, especially the way the Frank's memorandum, the memorandum in support of the Frank's hearing, the way that was written was so childish, it was embarrassing. All right? And once I read that, I was like, oh, Jesus, forget, this is stupid. All right, you guys. Well, thank you for being here, and definitely, you know, tonight we'll probably go over it. Maybe we'll do a call-in show too, and we can, you know, go over the, you know, some interviews that might be out there. All right. So thank you all very much for being here, and we will see you later. All right. And thanks again for all the support. Appreciate it. And until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now.
Mm.
And during this whole time,
That was
I
a
have not
real
seen
Apple
one person
sound. That was good.
that is a crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gregel's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.